Hello, welcome. We are here at the final part of Megaman ZX. Last time we defeated 8 pseudoroids, 4 from Megaman 03 and 4 from Megaman 04. Ow, one of the start. And that was the easiest method, by the way, of getting Model O. This time around, I'm going to show you the hard method, because everyone who's played Megaman ZX will tell you what the Super Boss is. Hey. Yeah. But first, we have to do this. The infamous disappearing and reappearing blocks. A staple of the Megaman series, and they save it for here. Yeah. And of course, as per Megaman tradition, they put these things over pit spikes. Even disregarding the fight itself, that's another reason why I call this the harder of the two methods. Just getting to this guy can prove difficult if you're not particularly good at platforming. But here we are. Omega Zero. He's got 3 health bars. He likes to drop rocks to the ground, as well as an upward slash, as well as heal himself. Oi, oi! Yeah! Yeah, the dude also has his own version of the Raging Demon. Yeah, even on easy difficulty, this guy can be an absolute challenge. Take that, Struggle Nuts. Might want to use a sub-tank here. Yep. Right. There we go. Ooh. Got him. And that is Omega Zero. For those who don't know who he is the final boss of Megaman 03. And one of the most memorable fights from the Zero series. Piss off. Ouch. Ouch. So, Omega Zero was a character who simply is known as Omega. And initially, it was quite mysterious as to who he is and where he came from. But then it is revealed towards the end of the game that Omega Zero is actually the body of the original Megaman Zero. Yes, it's Zero's original body. Out. In the Zero games. Ultimately, in Zero 3, the Zero, the player character, decides that it doesn't matter if his body is a copy, and that Omega's is the original. It's the memories that matter. The memories and the bonds Zero formed throughout both the X and Zero series. By the way, this is also where you'd get the secret fire medal. Which, luckily, I do have in normal mode safe file up there. I swear I'm good at Megaman. But first, let's take one last stop at Guardian HQ. And save. 8 hours, god damn. That's how long this Let's Play has been. That is a close in time as my first ZX playthrough. So, we'll turn off casual mode since you can only access Model O on normal and expert difficulty. Yep. And yes, I did it not once, but twice. So this is the other character we didn't pick, Vent. He plays pretty much identically to Ale, can't really do much aside from crouch and swim. But more importantly, this is Model O, Omega Zero. For the most part, it's pretty much the same as ZX, except you can charge a Z-Saber. Yeah. You can charge your Buster Shot. Funnily enough, in the first Megaman Zero game, this thing right here, Zero's Pea-Shooter, was originally called the Z-Buster. But it was later renamed to the Buster Shot because it's not actually the Z-Buster. It's actually the more mass-produced version meant to replicate the Buster. Now for what you want to see. Yes, unlike Model ZX, you can actually go into overdrive. You got an upward slash, there's downward slice. The only drawback is that Omega Zero can't dash and slice at the same time, because I believe you couldn't really do that in, I think, Zero 3? Unless you actually could, and this game has to have some sort of drawback. Also, you may have noticed that Omega Zero could double jump, but you can't. Also, yes, default shot is now the charge shot. As for the charge shot, yeah, you also can't charge your Z-Saber. So yeah, this is actually pretty cool. And now for the final thing I want to show off. Let's exit, turn casual mode back on. But in the 0ZX Legacy Collection, you have access to the music player, where you can actually listen to the ZX soundtrack. Let's play one as an example. Here's one as an example. So yeah, so you have the title of each of the music, each of the soundtrack, each of the various different sounds that occurred throughout the game. And this includes Cannonball, a theme often associated with Omega Zero. It's actually a pretty banger remix, actually. And here in the gallery, you have the concept art. So here you have, ironically enough, the cover. The cover, for the most part. Well, at least the center bit is the cover. Another poster showing in the various forms. But there's Omega Zero in the fucking back. That's because of course. Here's Vent. Vent with short hair, funnily enough. There's Ale. Model X. Both Vent and Ale. Model Z. And here's a bit of concept art showing off the whole, like, using the Z saber to just slice opponents in two. It's like, god damn. Omega. Model O. Model H. There's Fistleo. Basically showing, hey, dumbass, use Model H against this guy. Model F, fighting the Roar. Model L, fighting High Volt. Model P, Purple. There's Gyro. Gyro with Model Z. Normal, evil. Normal, evil. He's got the Char Aznavour's visors. There's Prairie, the Guardians, Model X, Z, H, F, L, P. And of course, the Pseudoroids, including this jackass, Prometheus and Pandora, Serpent with Model W, Final Form, Omega Zero, which, interesting detail about this concept art, you can actually see the Omega symbol on his hand. The intro boss, because of course. By the way, we're going to see this guy again in ZX Advent. A couple of the other mini bosses, including this callback to Megaman X1, the giant Metul. Dragon, Chimera, Calamari. So yeah, Griffin. Bunch of interesting pieces of concept art here. Funnily enough, we never actually get to see this dog right here. Yeah, apparently Vent / Ale and Gyro have a little doggy. Look at that. Interesting enough, the little doggy has a little, like, if you look at the collar, there's a little, like, R on the collar, and the dog's main color is red, a likely callback to Rush from the classic series. And that's really the thing about the ZX games, is that the early designs for Vent and Ale, both regular and armored forms, doing the Tokusatsu Henshin. By the way, no, I have not seen the newest Kamen Rider show. No, I would like to, but I haven't. Model Z, which, if you notice, so both Model X and Model Z here definitely feel like a more updated version of the classic X and Zero designs from the games before. A little bit of an explanation for where the thrusters come from, how they're able to dash. Oh yeah, and their Buster can also double as their Saber, like it straight up transforms, which is interesting. Meanwhile, Zero's probably like, fuck, why didn't I think of that? Comes with Art of Prometheus, who looks very different than the final design. Same with Pandora, though Pandora here is a bit closer to her final design. Size chart for each of the cast, and of course the various areas. So actually, I'm gonna leave it on this sort of image here because this is actually pretty gorgeous. But yeah, as I've mentioned before, ZX definitely feels like a love letter to the Megaman series. In fact, I would also argue that the ZX duology in general feel like a love letter to the series. In more ways than one. They definitely have that sort of new generation sort of feel, and it really makes me sad that we never got like a ZX3 or like a continuation of the ZX timeline. Because I do think there's a lot of like possibilities you can explore with this particular era of Mega Man that sort of like bridges the gap between like classic X and Zero and the Legends series. Because by the Legends timeline, humans and Reploids have basically become one being, known as Carbons. Carbons are just humans and Reploids merged together. They become essentially one whole species. I tell you, this series goes places. It's like, still, and even outside of that, I think both story-wise and gameplay-wise, I think the ZX games just do a lot right. It's why whenever it comes to like the Mega Man games, it's usually the ZX duology that I tend to go back to more often than not. But while I will say ZX is the best Mega Man game, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. Instead, I would say ZX Advent is my favorite. But that's gonna have to be saved for when I eventually do ZX Advent. So yeah. I'm actually gonna be doing ZX Advent starting next week, actually, funnily enough. But that is a story for another time. So, if you enjoy the ZX playthrough, feel free to like and subscribe. And while you're at it, check out my non-gaming stuff over on Tumblr transfer. And while you're at it, feel free to donate to either my Patreon or Ko-Fi. Either one helps. And so, see you all next time for when we begin Megaman ZX Advent. Bye.